Welcome to episode 208 of the Inside Bite. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. Here, co-host Rudy and Eddie. How you guys doing this week?
What's up?
What's up, fellas? Doing good. Tired. I feel like we're at the age where we're just always tired.
When's the school year end for you? Because my kid's last day is Friday. I know you still have a little
lucky.
longer.
Yeah, I got a few weeks left. I think June 25th or 6th, one of those. 26, I think, is my 26. I go in and get my check. September, I think this year's was 5th, maybe September 5th.
Yeah,
something like that.
So we're almost like a month ahead in terms of starting.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think that is? If anything, if you're in a colder area, wouldn't you?
I personally like this schedule because I like being off in July and August, because those are like July especially is like such a warm month, and I like being off at the end of June. I don't know. I feel like that just makes sense in my brain to me. Like, so you guys are off in, I guess, the end of May, all of June, and all of July, right? Okay. No August.
Start back August.
Interesting.
Anyway.
But I would hate to be going back in August. That would. I guess it's whatever you're used to, really. I mean, at the end of the day. But I would. I don't know. I guess that's what it comes down to. Now, I wonder how many parts of the country do it like that, though. Like, I'd be curious to find out.
Like, what's the actual reason? I was thinking it was just where you're placed in terms of time and weather. That would be my first assumption. I don't know what else it would even be.
I wonder how they decide. It's a good question.
Anyways, slow news week. But you had something you wanted to bring forward, and I also thought it'd be awesome to talk on all the mixtape stuff. But before the mixtape stuff,
so actually those two things are a little connected for me with this. So I was thinking, a while ago when we first started the whole Steam library thing together, which has turned out to be a freaking awesome idea, right? Because like we know each other, over the years we've all gotten to know each other, and obviously you guys have known each other for a long time, but I got to know Eddie through this, but I don't know the other people in the library, right? But it's turned out that there's been already multiple games that I haven't bought and I was interested in, that I just looked before I bought it. And I was like, oh shoot, this game's already in here. This is awesome, right? Like
Steam will actually tell you noticed, right? Like you go on the store page, it'll say in your library.
Say someone owns it, right? Yeah. So like Remnant 2, I was going to play with my buddies. I was going to go buy it and then I had it. Or Dispatch, I was interested in that. I had it. And then on the flip side, I bought, what game was it? Oh, I bought Dying Light, the Beast. I was playing with my buddy, and then that dude in our group, Al Cringe, he was playing it.
Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure I bought Mixtape, and I saw you played it on the first day. Yep. And like, I just think it's awesome.
Played, I don't know, 15, 20 games minimum from someone else. Resident Evil 9, I didn't buy.
That one, I think I bought that one. So I just think, like, first of all, I just want to say, like, the way that they've done this is such an incredible value. It's just crazy to me that it's even a thing that exists, right? That's already crazy. And then to go off of that, like that was the first thing. I just never really pictured this working the way that it's worked for all of us already, and how much money I've probably saved already, right? That's the first thing. I've said this
before, but I want to reiterate. If somebody's playing the same game you're wanting to play, which is a really slim chance because there's
very
1,000
rare
games.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's like 980 something or something like that.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, you can go offline mode.
Go offline, yeah.
And then just play it, and even if someone else is. Now, obviously, if it was an online game, then that wouldn't work. But again, the chance of somebody else playing it in an online, it'd have to be something like really big, popping off that everyone's playing.
Right.
And at that point, I think you would just buy it anyway.
Sure. Then you can have multiple copies. But the chances, like you said, the chances of it's been awesome. The chances of you playing a game that requires you to be online at the same time as your friend, it's like, we're really getting into specifics here. Anyway, all that being said, right, that was my first point. But then we started talking a little about Mixtape, right? So I had seen, I did buy Mixtape right away because last week or whenever we last met, last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me.
It was like the day we were recording that maybe the reviews were dropping.
Yep. And we had a discussion about like, hey, what do you guys think? I saw Mixtape pop up. It got a 10s. Like, does that interest you now? And it had caught my interest. We kind of all agreed, like, yeah, it kind of piques your interest a bit. And so I bought it. I was like, okay, I'm going to play this. But I was finishing up my other game. And I saw on my Steam list that Tim had completed it. Like, I think it looked like you just kind of stayed up like a late night that night, right?
Yeah,
like it looks like you stayed up like 12
That's
o'clock.
Exactly what I did.
Saw like 2:54 in the morning. Tim was done, and I was like, I'm like kind of jealous because I don't know why my brain can't do that anymore. Like I get so tired. I was like, instead of stretching this out
rare.
Over 3
days, it's rare. It was
It just so happened to happen. I get it. It just so happened to happen today. But like sometimes I get annoyed at myself because I'm like, Rudy, you're playing a 5-hour game over the course of like 2 weeks. Like, just freaking stay up one night and knock it out. Anyway, so I started it. I guess now we can talk about it. I started it, and right before the show we were talking about like, can you even call this like an actual video game? People have been going crazy over this game. I think already the fact that the guy at IGN, and I don't know about other outlets, but IGN specifically gave it a 10, right?
That's what started the whole.
That's what started the whole. Yeah. Now, some people are really mad about it because they feel like, number one, I've seen some people say, well, it's not a 10. It's not that good. Then I've seen other people say, well, it's not even a game, right? And then I've seen other people defend it. It is awesome.
Now, what did we say last episode? I said that I wouldn't technically call it a video game. I know maybe it is, but in my head, I just see it as like interactive media, almost like if you're like a graphic novel is its own kind of category.
Graphic novel,
this is like
is a video
walking
game,
Sims, which I don't really like. I don't know. There's many of these at this point.
There's a lot of them.
Edith Finch, or I don't know, all these things to where like, yeah, you may be walking around and maybe selecting things, but you're not necessarily playing a game and with challenges and stuff.
This is kind of how I feel about it, right? Take a game like Life is Strange, which to me is actually a really good game, right? But it's a longer game. Life is Strange, the last one, was probably like a 10, 11-hour game, okay? Because there's a decent amount of length there, it doesn't pop out as you didn't see that discourse around Life is Strange. You didn't see a ton of people saying this isn't a video game. Want to know why? Probably 2 reasons: because it's an established franchise, and number 2, it's a longer game. It's not just 3 hours long, right?
So and we've had examples in the past, so it wasn't as extreme. Like By That Home, Gone Home is probably already out, right?
Yeah, yep, exactly.
And
when
again,
Gone Home
that's
came
an
out,
experience of just walking around. You don't have decisions. You don't have decisions. Gone Home. You don't have decisions, and even what was the other game we just brought up? Whatever.
Well, I'm sure we've mentioned some. So this game, I think, because it's super short, and because it's lacking some of those things you mentioned, like making the decisions and more interactions. There are some interactions, there are some things, but yes, it's lacking this thing.
Edith Finch. I don't think there's any decisions in that or any paths in there, right? I think it's just straight up.
Or the other one is, you ever played Dear Esther?
Yeah, that one's really good.
That one's really, I liked it, but it's very much just walk and click and all these games, I think
it's like an experience that you're just kind of controlling the character, and that's kind of the point. So,
now that being said, I'm not done with the game yet, but I very much like this game a lot. There's a lot of moments in it so far. I just love the style of it. Like, okay, for example, you've seen this on all the trailers and stuff, so it's not a spoiler or anything. But even something as simple as when they're in the car and all you do is you just click from the 3 different buttons, and you can bob your head with the music. 3 different actions, and then it's so stylistic. Like how one moment you're just bobbing your head, the next moment they're doing the flashing the headlights, the next they're hitting the up and down on the door unlock.
Door lock.
Like I thought that was such a freaking awesome scene. I love that. I thought that was so cool. Or when they're going in the shopping cart down the hill. Like I think that so far the game is super cool with the way they tell the story and how they incorporate the different the different tracks on the mixtape and stuff. I think a lot of people who grew up in like the 80s and even the 90s too, like ourselves, I think you can relate pretty heavily to a lot of this stuff. That's why I personally like the game so far. I haven't finished the game.
I finished it. A lot of people are confused about the time frame. It's the 90s, by the way. It's not the 80s. I was going into it thinking it was the 80s.
That's what I thought at first.
Oh, it's the 90s actually. It's like early 90s.
They're listening to a lot of 80s music and stuff.
She listens to even 70s stuff throughout.
She goes far back. So yeah.
It's a big swath, but I would say it's like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It doesn't go past that, but
I think the characters, for example, like I like how they're written. I think they're written really well so far. Like the main character, the way she explains her love of music and stuff, like I know a few people like that. Shit, actually, Tim, she reminds me of you a little bit. The way that you talk about music and stuff, it kind of reminds me.
I'll get into it, but
yeah, well, I know
very much connected.
Yeah, I know. I thought of you. I thought of you. I thought of Dave. Like I love music. Don't get me wrong, but there are a few people who I think they're like I love music this much. I really love music, but then there's people who like surpass me. Like they're like up here.
So I had binders of what I made was like, instead of calling them mixtapes, I just called them mixes, I think is what I wrote. Okay. And then I would put like punk rock volume 2, hip hop volume 4, and I would make all these like volumes of all these things of me staying up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, downloading from starting at Napster to LimeWire to BearShare or whatever, and spending countless hours, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 in the morning making a CD because, I got to go to school 7 in the morning, but I really want this to listen to on the ride on the bus on the way to school. Right. Yeah. So I'd be obsessing over even the order of things and all that. So it was very much like, I understand this mindset a lot.
Yeah, so while I do agree the game is like not that interactive, the way they do the interactions I think is really well done. So I kind of get what they were going for. So I can understand the Discord. I always knew this game. Once I saw that 10, I always knew this game was going to be like in the middle of a shitstorm of, a ton of
let me explain what the game is, and then we'll explain what people are saying, and then I'm gonna give my actual where I'm coming from and all.
Sure.
So at the start of just the game itself, so it's called Mixtape because it's a girl. Basically, she is going to New York to start her career. High school's ending. I think it just ended.
Right.
For them, and then I think it's like the summer. And then after school ends, and basically, she promised that she was gonna go on a trip with her friends, like cross country, and then last minute, at least to the other people, that she's like, no, I'm basically bailing because I really got to do this thing, which it's very much like life decision work over like deciding to hang around your friends more. So obviously she's in my head doing the right thing, but the way she's going about it is very teenagey and dumb and not explaining this and I wear like this and being very but the premise of the game is she's going there because she wants to be a music, I forget the word, not producer.
No, it wasn't producer. It was like a
basically, you're deciding music for like movies or trailers, anything like that of like you're a music guru and you're basically helping companies decide what to use and where and all of that. But I wish I could think of the name, but it's slipping my mind right now.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know it existed, this job, until this game. I look it up and I'm like, man, I didn't know this existed. I didn't know this was a thing people even wanted, right? Anyway, so she is making the sort of like ultimate mix CD because she wants to, when she goes up there to meet this person that she knows, not the other person not aware of her, but that she's well aware of, that's made music, put in music for all these epic movies and plays and stuff like that. And so she's going to go up there and hand them this, and they're going to be so blown away by it that they're just going to hire her on the spot and she's going to live out her career in New York being a big hotshot music Euro person, right? Which it's very, very lofty dreams. It doesn't even get into if she's successful or not or anything like that. But, you know, she has her heads in the clouds. Whether it's going to pay off or not is a different story. But it's, you know, so because of that, she's trying to be like, okay, well, we know we're going to hang out. I'm about to leave. Let's build a mixtape all around and listen to it as we're having our final like night together. And then that's the sort of premise of the game. And of course, you know, almost like, what was it? I forget the name of it. Blah's Day Out, the 80s movie.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
There you go.
Yeah.
It also was that premise of like that, to where it's like takes place in a single day. You can have flashbacks, but it's not really any epic tale. The world's not ending. It's just friends hanging out and basically how things would go down in a small town of that day. And there's a lot of things like one of the friends' dad is a cop and he's like crazy over controlling, and things really take a left turn because of that, because you know, the daughter of this cop is rebelling real hard because he's so crazily strict. And so
I haven't seen all that yet.
I can connect to that on my level because my mom was crazy overly strict, and because of that I was sneaking out all the time at like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. So there's a lot to get into in that, but that's the overall just like premise of the game. And so all you're really doing in the game is just your sort of, I guess, think Life is Strange in this terms of a vehicle of you just like walking from this room and then going to the next event, but it all takes place. Things don't jump too often, but the whole time you're playing, it's to a song. And the whole point of the game is, oh, here's like 15 deep cuts, maybe bands you know, but maybe this song you never heard of. But then they maybe do like 2 well-known songs from the bands, and then the other 13 are like deep cuts of each one, because they're trying to show that she isn't just playing the hit, she's trying to build like the masterpiece, you know. So it's going to be a bit more like in the weeds and stuff like that. So anyway, the reception of this game is a lot of people seeing 10s, getting excited, and thinking it's something entirely different than what it was, is my best read on it, because they're like, you know, it's hardly a game. How the hell does this get a 10, but then this gets a 6 and all of that sort of stuff?
Do you think a 10 was justified? Like you compare it to like Baldur's Gate 3 or Elden Ring?
It's very hard. I've been wondering this question
different
the whole
games,
time.
you know?
And it's so again, like an experience, and it's like, and even the experience, like, is this a 10? Because I liked it so much, I did. I'm actually a huge fan. I mean, it looked cool, right? But I didn't know what I was coming out the other end. But a 10 is just so like, that's such a crazy high bar in my mind. And it's like, can it hit that? But at the same time, I think about it so much after the fact. It really took a hold of me. This is my favorite of this type of game. I've never played any game like this type of game that's been better.
Okay, interesting.
I absolutely loved it, but it's very, very much up my alley of just all the things. The skateboarding, when the teenager of like all these little scenes they go to of like to the river of screwing around, throwing rocks, a car being destroyed that they just fool around with here and there, going through the woods, and it feeling way more epic in your memories than what it was actually. And they play into that in the game, so you'll actually be like frolicking through the woods and jumping really, really high and doing almost these like impossible things. But it's because the girl thinking back at that point in time, she thinks so highly of it, it almost feels like magical. So in the moment, it's a little more exaggerated magical than what it actually would be in that moment. Like the shopping cart thing, sort of in the beginning of the game too. There's a bit to where like a helicopter flies overhead and like they're on the news and there's a million cops. Like the reality, it wasn't all that. It was just maybe a cop chasing them and that was it. But they make it so much more epic because she's going back on her like memories and making it bigger than what it was, sort of thing. So it's a lot of that. But I don't know. For some reason I don't want to say something until I have like because is it not a 10 because it is like the favorite of this thing that I've played of anything in this genre. So wouldn't that fit the description of that? I mean, it I think about a ton. At the very end, again, it was like 2-3 in the morning. I did have like a tear rolling down my cheek, and it took me like real specific memories, and that's where it gets you a lot. But if you don't have these like, oh, you're trying to sneak alcohol and you're going into this abandoned house with your friends trying to, or getting into all this crazy teenage stuff of like they bust into this big almost like amusement park, but after hours. I've done exactly that. All these things, they're a bit exaggerated in each bit, but again, that's on purpose because it's seeming a lot more epic than the reality of the situation, sort of thing. And then a lot of people are saying, well, the characters suck, right? The main character is very pretentious. She's better than everyone, kind of thing. But that's how they are.
That's how they are.
That's how they are. They think they're the hottest crap ever, right? And I think what's the alternative? You don't make them like that, and you
want a teenage girl who just graduated in that time frame who's going to be like so sweet and nice to everyone and considerate. Like, it's not realistic.
Yeah. It wouldn't be as enjoyable for me to want that. But I just listened to something actually last night, a podcast where they're like not liking the game because they're like, well, the characters suck. There's nothing redeeming about any of them. And it's like, one, I don't even agree to that, but even if half the things they do are like that it's supposed to be, I don't know. So then and I even heard bringing up, well, if it's supposed to be, well, it's still bad. And it's like, I guess.
I mean, that's going to be, that's an opinion. That's what I'm saying. Like with the 10 out of 10 thing, it doesn't bother me that somebody at IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. I saw a lot of discussion about it being tied to Larry Ellison's daughter, the billionaire founder of Oracle. It being pushed as an indie game and it having like a freaking like a Hollywood.
How can they buy all the license indefinitely if they're an indie
your dad's
game?
A billionaire?
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
People let's say Grand Theft Auto. They don't even buy infinite license to their music. That was an example somebody was using. Okay, yeah. But they're always looking at how to cut wherever they can. They're a huge company. They're always going to take a cheaper route if they can and think it's worth it. And they're like, we'll renew it in a few years if we have to. But what company doesn't try to just save money on the music? These guys, the whole point of the game is the music, so you need that to last. Imagine this game changing its music 4 years. You can't. It's like, I don't know if Scrubs, for example, I'm really into. Well, the soundtrack was a big deal in that show. And the streaming of it now, they changed a lot of the songs, and it completely ruins the tons of episodes because of that. And there's a lot of huge complaints about that. If the music is very important to it, it's very important to keep those tracks. You would do anything to keep those tracks. You would pay whatever amount. Of course, they wouldn't want to pay that amount if it wasn't that important.
No, I think it was more towards a cost of production and it being pushed as an indie title. And this is an out of nowhere studio. They're an indie developer.
Well, Annapurna, or whatever you say it, right? How do you say them?
Annapurna.
Yeah, they're an independent studio, regardless of how much money they make. They're not like the publisher. They're not relying on somebody else to pay for the thing. So technically, that's all that defines the term in my head.
Yeah, but it's coming whenever you use the term, like, so if you look at the way that it's being pushed, like it's independent is like small grassroots. There was no grassroots movement for this. It popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't think they're small. I don't think it's popping out of nowhere.
They paid a shit
ton. They had the last game that was pretty successful.
Yeah, they had Stray. I think they did. They
did Stray?
No. The developers themselves who made this game, this is their second one, and their first game was another music style game.
Okay.
Almost more of like a rhythm thing or something. I can't remember the name of it. But it got pretty decent reception, and it's of what I saw, it looks pretty cool. This is a very much like Life is Strange version of it or something like that. That's more of a video game on the last one. But and then Annapurna themselves, yes, they do Stray, and they do yes. But yes, there's a lot of talk on
it's being AstroTurf. That was it being fake, basically bought and paid for reviews, getting a bunch of hype for a game that
that never happened. Has that ever happened with any game that we've ever had proof of? Why is this always a conversation with so many games?
What?
Because has anyone ever paid IGN or GameSpot for?
I don't know about paid, so I'm not sure about being paid, getting caught. But yeah, there's definitely been accusations and evidence pointing to, especially back in the magazine days, where they would feel pressure from developers, like especially big developers, where if you don't review this fairly, we're going to cut off your access.
That does happen.
So they remove your access from it.
Oh, if you don't review fairly, that I believe.
No. Like Bethesda, for example, have done this to a few people of like, no,
if you don't like our game,
you are no longer getting access because you reviewed us badly.
Yeah. If you review it badly, then we're gonna.
That does happen. So, and that's always a fear.
Yeah, but like this game is definitely not for me. I'll never any game like it. It's just not my cup of tea. But when I see a 10 out of 10, I am gonna compare it to games that like Red Dead Redemption 2, and I mean, like I said, it may be a great.
I mean, it's not even close, right? Red Dead Redemption 2 in my head would be way more. How many hours poured into making every tiny detail as perfect as possible.
Yeah, and
you can't compete to something of like a 4-hour narrative experience. I never could. So I don't know how to really go about that.
See, but I don't ever do that because the game Inside, remember Inside from years and years ago? To me, that is a 10 out of 10 game. And I don't feel it's fair to just be like, I can't call that a 10 out of 10 game because Breath of the Wild is a 10 out of 10 game. And those games one is way bigger in scope. I think Inside is a 10 out of 10 game, but I don't compare them. It is what it is.
You can definitely call it a 10 out of 10 game. That's what I was preface this by saying. It doesn't bother me that IGN did it, but I feel like the backlash to it is a majority of gamers don't feel that game
it's a 10 out of 10.
The package itself is capable of being a 10 out of 10.
That's fair.
Now it's also $20. It's not.
I guess as long my only takeaway from this is as long as the game is not said before anyone would ever touch it or see it, I should backtrack. Before anyone touches it, as long as people don't say that can't be a 10 out of 10 before even playing it, then I'm fine with it. But if someone were to see it and be like, it doesn't look like a 10 out of 10 to me, but then they play it and then they draw a conclusion, then I'd be fine with it. But from what I've experienced from it, I think it's a really good game. Do I think it's going to be a 10 out of 10 for me personally? Probably not. I think it's a really good game though, but it's not enough for me to take away from it and think it's a 10 out of 10 kind of game. Do you know what I mean? I don't have a problem with it being what it is, but I just don't know if I'd come away from it. I really like what it's doing, but it's just not enough for me to think this is that top tier of a game,
And one more thing I'll say, I think IGN probably is the main 100% source of the controversy, because people hate IGN. They like when they don't review a game good enough. They hate
IGN more than I like.
You know the number one comment whenever IGN gives a 10 out of 10. Number one comment is they gave it a 10 out of 10, must be a bad game. Or if they give like a low score, must be a great game.
Yeah.
Or if they give a 7, it's Conquered.
When they gave Mouse PI for Hire a 6, I was outraged by that because number one, the reasons were so silly, and number two, they were the total outlier. Everyone else was giving it such high reviews, and I'll talk about that later. It was a really good game, so I was kind of shocked by that.
But aren't their reviews? They're not done by consensus. Their reviews, they assign one
individual people. And
it's going to be
the fact of them even working IGN doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
So that's why whenever I do find it humorous, the IGN stuff, I love anytime I watch it, read about it. But I also say this isn't the entire company sitting around a table saying like, hey, we're going to form a consensus. This is just one person could have
that's the case at a lot of outlets, It's usually always one.
A lot of people that no longer work at IGN that used to, biggest example that I listened to, Sacred Symbols, Call, all that, he has said multiple times that if something is to get a 10, the amount of effort of him trying to convince the main editor of like, did you put enough evidence on your reasons why? And you have to almost convince the reader and all of us that it is a 10 because of X, Y, and Z. And you have to have overwhelming evidence before they post it, because again, they're trying their best not to have this backlash.
To avoid it.
Yes. So I want to say that as well. But that's that. I don't know. I mean, I'm never going to be upset over somebody giving a 10. I do want people to realize what this game is. It's not much of a video game, okay? I don't know what to call it. You can get in the weeds all day. Again, I said, last episode, and I'll reiterate, I'll just call it a narrative visual experience or something like that. I don't.
Interactive media, interactive narrative driven media.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I do. Like I said, there's all kinds of games out there that I'm not into and that people love, and it's just like, if I wrote a review for IGN, I'd probably have a shit ton of people being like, this dude's a fucking idiot, he doesn't have any sense of style, excuse my language, but I found it entertaining. I really don't care either way, like when IGN gives it a 10 out of 10. I do see how, when I look at, think about the other games that have gotten 10 out of 10, and I agree, it's not fair to say, well, because it's its own thing. It's kind of like if you're carving like a mini statue, it can be just as valid, or, you can give that a scale of 1 to 10 versus a full-size bust of something like a huge.
Yeah. Let's say a big statue you're going to stick in a museum or in front of a government building, and it's gigantic. Obviously, that takes way more mind power, manpower, all of that to build than something that's 6 inches tall of a little figurine. It's a whole different beast, but that figurine could still be a 10, and that statue could still be a 10.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're saying very obvious things, but it's only because of the craziness of just what people are saying, of just why couldn't it be? Now, again, in my own head, I don't know, maybe I'll come back next episode and have an answer, but it's hard for me to just say, it's a 10 no matter how much I connected with it, almost because maybe I liked it so much and I just want more, but it's at least a 9, and in my head, it's still huge, and it's still going to be one of these things I recommend to a lot of people, but it's very much about the music. It's not even really, it's more about the music than it is about the characters or anything else or the plot. It's more of here's a really curated bit of just play music video after music video after music video. It's right when a song ends, it goes into the next within a few seconds, longest maybe a minute or two before the next song starts. And each song has a series of events, as if it was playing out like a music video.
Yep.
So that's really all it is. And I'm a big music video dude. I guess Eddie knows this, but I'll just be having music videos on in the background, and I've curated a huge in my YouTube music to where anytime the songs in my library, if it has a music video, I throw it into this playlist, and that way I can shuffle all the music videos. And it's something like, I don't know, maybe 4,000 music videos all in this one playlist. So it just shuffles all as like a thing. And I'm constantly watching them in the background or whatever. Almost like people with putting Family Guy on in the background. For me, it would just be music videos. So whenever I'm playing something like this, it excites me because I'm getting a really cool song, a really cool music video. They have a lot of different styles. There's a bit in there to where like a friend does something pretty messed up and she like gets stabbed by it pretty hard, and it goes like super dramatic, like black and white, and her just kind of fading away, and it's a whole really neat music video around that. So it goes into exaggerative effects and very like, trippy weird stuff a lot of times to sort of lean into the music. So
gotcha.
But it's that type of experience, and maybe people hearing this, maybe they then can like put their expectations in check instead of thinking it's going to be the next Red Dead.
Well, hopefully people give it a try and, see what they take. The best part is the game's only like just shy of 3 hours long. So you really don't have to make a big commitment to try it out,
Yeah, monetarily or time-wise. It's like
both. Both.
It's like a basically like a ticket to the movie.
Like a movie, like a night at the movies.
Yeah.
Go enjoy it. It's a fun ride either way, and you don't have to invest that much. So whether you think it's a 10 or you think it's a 5, I mean, you didn't lose much, So
my kid, he's 12 now, and he saw me playing some of this, and he was like, why would they do that? She's so dumb. And he's like criticizing the character, something like that. And I'm like, bro, just you wait. I bet you $1 million I'm going to see you doing something even dumber when you're like 15.
Yeah.
Funny, man.
But they do, they don't do anything too bad, but they definitely go further than what I thought in terms of like actually showing what a teenager really would do in these situations. I thought they nailed that perfectly. Now, again, you don't have to be like these characters, because I wasn't. I was a lot nicer than the main character by a landslide. But I also did a lot of more intense bad things than even she did. But were
they going for like a John Cusack High Fidelity, like where they're Jack Black, where they're like they work at the record store? Have you ever seen that movie? They work at the record store and they're like super snobby. Oh, dude, you got to watch High Fidelity if you like music and talk about like media that's like tied intrinsically to the music that's in it. Yeah. Anyway, but they're like snobs, dude. They people come in, they try to buy albums, and they fucking shit on their music taste. They sell it to them. Like, get the fuck out of here.
She craps on. There's a big scene of they're making fun of this particular like person that they go to school with or something like that. And it's like, ugh, the worst. It's like, yeah, it's just all like alternative music, like Pearl Jam, Green Day, blah, right? And then she's like going into this whole bit of how cool she is, because that's just I forget what they call it. Like, there was a specific word that they used at that time that they don't anymore, and I remember using it even when I was a kid. But it's like, not like jerk off, but it was some particular like ass hat or something like that. It wasn't that, but call them very specific things because they sort of fit that niche of, instead of listening to something like, I don't know, an artist that would put music in Space Odyssey or something.
Yeah.
But that's I found a lot of cool bands through this, a lot of things I didn't know. That also excites me because I'm always looking for new music that interests me. And every song actually is phenomenal. 80% of the music I never even heard before. So that's actually a pro for me. Now, a lot of people are like, you would think it would be like all the songs people would remember and be big nostalgia hit in that front. But that's not what they're going for. They're going for somebody trying to purposely go into the weeds on the music, and so they can show off to win this
cuts.
job.
Yeah, they're doing their deep cuts. Yeah.
So, but I prefer that personally. But I could see people, being like, I don't know any of this music. I can't connect to any of this. What does this matter? It's not about like you being like a person or even, oh, I like this song. It's being put into a place of, this is like similar experiences that you may or may not have, but they have a deep connection to just the way they present it as a whole, of like the layers to everything, of like how realistic this character would act with this song, with this situation, But most of the things they did, I did. And so I felt quite connected to it for that reason. And maybe if it wasn't any of that, like, there was like, if you were a nerdy kid and you didn't have many friends, right? You were like sort of the geek in the classroom. Right. You maybe wouldn't connect with this game at all, because these are more of like, if you ever see Freaks and Geeks, these are the freaks. You know what I mean? But they are still like people in the school. They're not like bullying them or anything. They're still seen in a high regard, just in a more alternative manner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're a separate clique.
Yes, like, but they're not like the losers or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of the pocket that these kids fit. And that's the exact pocket I was in when I was in school. Of like, no one really people messed with me in middle school, 6th, 7th, not even 8th grade. But by the time high school started, I could talk to whoever. Nothing was ever really weird. A lot of the preppy guys didn't like me, but that was as far as it went. But anyway, and that's kind of the same boat that these people are in. But they pull off this, like, I don't want to spoil too much, but they pull off a big banger party, and I've definitely been in the midst of making something like that happen, just like in this game too. So there's a lot of big, what seems so huge to a teenager's mind, and even to this day, if I look back, I'm like, yeah, that moment was really huge for me, even if it wasn't world changing. It was world changing for me personally, and that's where it kind of hits with this. So I really connected it. I really, really loved it, but I don't know where to go in terms of like reviewing something like this. It seems very hard to do, because it's how do you review music videos? Well, no, I mean, I guess you can. You just be like, well, were there any errors? Were there, like, how polished was it? It was in all of that, they did phenomenal job. So, like, what's me to say it's not a 10? But I just don't know. It's just also weird to say that. And I don't know. It's kind of interesting because it doesn't usually fit the usual. So that's that. We'll get on to news if you don't have anything more to say on this. Let's get it. The first thing here, report. Star Ocean and Ghost of Yote aren't coming to PC as PlayStation charts a return to console exclusivity. Now, there was a lot of background talk, a lot of rumors, all that sort of stuff, like PlayStation's done with PC, but this is just more evidence, let's say, that this is going to be the case. So back in March, Bloomberg reported that then up-and-coming PS5 games like Soros and Ghost of Yote would not release on PC, while Sony charted a return to console exclusivity. Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier, who wrote the report, has now revealed on Blue Sky that PlayStation CEO Herman Hulst told staff in a company town hall meeting this morning that all future PlayStation single-player games will in fact be exclusive. Schreier writes on Blue Sky, Scoop, PlayStation Studio business CEO Herman Hulst had told staff in a town hall Monday morning that the company's narrative single-player games will now be PlayStation exclusive, confirming Bloomberg's reporting from earlier this year. So they even mention Schreier's report and them saying that, hey, it's gonna be the narrative single-player games, that's just PlayStation only. Any thoughts on this?
I mean, I think it's a bummer. I mean, their games weren't doing great, but that doesn't mean that the future ones weren't going to be good. I think I wish it was. I'm PC, so I would like for all the companies to make their games. And with Xbox doing what they're doing, I mean, they're putting a lot of their first party titles on PlayStation hardware. I guess with Sony's just gonna go the opposite direction. And I mean, like I said, it does make sense for me, because why would you buy a console if you can get everything, on a PC?
What do you do if you're a PlayStation? Like is the question I wonder.
Yeah, if you want to stay a console company, you want to keep things the way they are. I think this is what you have to do. You have to keep your games exclusive. Give people a reason to buy a PlayStation console, because otherwise, they could just build a PC. Especially, I don't know what their numbers are looking like. What they
a lot of people claim, a lot of these companies at least will say, "Oh, well, if you buy our console, we're technically making a loss, even if it's only $50. It's usually not larger than that, but if you buy the console, then you'll be in our ecosystem." Well, if they're technically taking a loss, I think that goes against this then, and it makes me wonder, like, I don't know if they are taking a loss, and I don't know if they ever have been, because there's also situations of like, the longer a console's been out, and this has been for the last 15 years or so, they make it harder and harder to repair. And like, there was a thing I just saw last week where new Xboxes, if you look at the board, all the parts used to have little labels on them, like white text over each little capacitor and everything. That way you could look up A11 and it means this part, so you can go and order this part. Well, they removed all that writing. It made it way harder to move things around, so people couldn't fix these things. And so wouldn't that go against, like, well, you want people to buy a new console? Well, if you're losing money on a console, why would you want them to buy a new console? I don't think you are losing money on a console then. And
especially this generation, because normally the price trends down. Like, you release the console, it comes out, that's the highest it's going to be is when it first comes out. And then 5 years later, you might even do a refresh with reduced cost specifically to try to get people who don't want to spend that much on. So like with PlayStation 3, they had three different models, and each one was cheaper. The last one was a damn piece of plastic that you slid. I mean, but this generation is the opposite. The prices are going up. Well, and part of it
now
is
we have
and the
the
RAM.
bigger reason is because of all the and every company's facing this. So that, like, it's Steam, right? They can't release these Steam machines. They can release the controllers, and they said, hey, they straight up said, because we can't get the RAM.
Yeah.
So we know that that's a true fact at this point. So yeah, I don't know where that plays into it, but
yeah. But like, how much is the PS5 Pro right now? Is it like Is it 900?
A lot. It's I think it's literally $899 or something. Insane.
Dude, that's insane.
I never would. It's nobody's buying it, and it's they must have to, because I just can't imagine, especially, okay, at least give it a little time. Okay, it's not selling. Well, we tried. Let's lower it, whatever. If that was the case, I think it would be lower at this point if it was real. Of like, they raised it that price because they're just trying to make money. I think right now every company really is just struggling too hard to get parts.
Yeah, and to provide a reasonably priced piece of kit, because, like you said, those machines are running DDR5, so they're really getting slammed on RAM cost. It's insane the amount of money that you have to spend. But yeah, I don't know.
But if this wasn't going on, what I wonder is 10 years ago, maybe companies weren't losing cost on the consoles, and they really were making a profit, even if it was small. I don't know. It makes you wonder on that front.
Yeah. Well, you would think that, like, you would be chasing every sale you could get of software. If that's where you make your real money, then
you would be putting to PC is ultimately what I was getting at. But
well, it could also be that they make a shit ton of money off of their like PlayStation Plus subscription model, and they want to keep people on devices where that is a requirement to, maybe that goes into the equation now. Where previously it was just okay, buy the games, but now they got all this other stuff in there that they want you, buy your movies through our storefront, buy your, like. I don't think they get a cut.
There was a report of Call of Duty making them more money than anything they've done.
Because of microtransactions, they get a cut of the microtransactions.
They get like 30%.
So that's a reason to be like, hey, we need people to own our console and be on our console. I don't know. Yeah, I think that it is better when there are consoles, and I think that one of the main ways to ensure that is to do like Nintendo and what Sony's doing now is have exclusive experiences that you can't have you have to have that hardware. You have to buy the console.
Yeah.
On one hand, I wish all that would go away and we just play on PC, but on the other hand, that's kind of boring and not as interesting.
Yeah, homogenized, and it makes it you don't have any personality. Like you don't have a Switch 2. You don't
I like
and I think about people growing up
Switch to a PC and all that.
Yeah, and I think about people growing up and having a Switch, like that shit's burnt into your brain, the feel, the personality of that system, where if everybody's on PC, I mean, I guess technically you would have memories, but it wouldn't be the same as like having a console.
But then the other thing, it like begs the question, it's like, would everyone just play on PC if you brought it to PC day one? I don't even think that would happen. You know, I feel like
you would just lose gamers. You would lose.
Right, people are still so stuck in their console that they like. You know, like for example, if Saros that just came out day one on PC, I highly doubt that would transfer.
It wouldn't move any needle of any metric that much. What, 100,000 sales or something?
You just get PC gamers that would probably buy it. Like I didn't buy it. I probably would have bought it on PC though. More likely, you know. And I heard it sold like crap, which is unfortunate.
Because we saw sales from various games, even huge stuff like the God of War Ragnarok. The original God of War sold well on PC because, again, this was when they were first doing it.
Right.
And it was a novelty and all that. Well, now that we're used to it, it wasn't even close to 1 million sales. And then you look at Nintendo, there's what? 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, 60 million copy games. And it's like Sony just probably feeling like they're wasting their time.
Yeah, that could definitely be part of it.
Yep. So,
okay. Rudy, Jonathan Blow's massive puzzle mashup game, Order of the Sinking Star, will also launch on Nintendo Switch too.
That's actually great news because I know that his games, just from experience, are perfect for Switch 2. Like The Witness. If that ever came to Switch 2, I would play it again because it is literally just like
you would think with this coming that he would then do that, right?
I know it would have been a perfect comment.
Is Braid on Switch?
Good question. Actually, let's double check that.
If it is, maybe maybe he just has to.
Braid Anniversary Church. Yeah, it came out. Anniversary Edition came out on Switch 2. Which, if anyone listening has never played Braid. Great game, super smart, very creative, very and I don't have you guys ever played Braid, by the way, either of you?
I played like the first two. It was a demo and it was like a level or two or something. This was way back in like 360. What was it? Summer arcade game.
Yeah, Summer arcade. Okay, so I won't spoil it then, but there is such a cool, it's not just a platformer game. It's way more than that.
Because it's like a platformer game with a rewind function. And I was like, oh, this is neat.
Yes. And it starts to have some really cool, interesting mechanics. It gets way more complicated. But then it has some really, really cool, crazy story implications as you go. And it has a really crazy ending to it, which I love so much. So The Witness, when it came out, that game just blew the doors open. Like he went super far, very deep. A whole island full of these crazy puzzles. And once he came out with that, I was like, yo, this guy is like a genius. But yeah, it never came to Switch, which is wild to me. This could have been a perfect, hey, this game's coming out, and in the meantime, play this on Switch.
Why not
you know?
do that? Yeah.
Right. But yeah, this next game he's coming out with, I'm super excited. It's gonna have like over 1,000 puzzles or something, I think it said, when you're playing the game.
We still don't know release date or anything like that, but they are sticking to 2026. So
okay, that's good.
We'll see.
I'm excited.
But Switch 2 day one, that's cool.
That's good.
Switch 2 is getting a price increase. So it's going from $449 to $499 in the US, $50 more.
Good thing we got it.
Yeah, everything's going up, and again, it's almost, I feel like they feel they have to, or they make too much of a loss with these consoles buying, and the last thing you want is something on a shelf selling at an actual loss and by a good amount because you're spending so much money trying to get the parts and all that. But I don't know if like they're only raising it just so they can keep it where they technically even if they made only $20 a console, so they make something, or is it like negative? Is it like, oh, it can't be below 50 of what we would lose? Maybe there's some sort of metric that they follow. I would love to be in the inside of any of these companies where somebody could give an answer of that, of like,
very
I don't know, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, whoever makes hardware, of like, how much do you make or lose? But maybe, I don't know if they'll ever admit to any of that.
Oh, real quick, I wanted to ask, did y'all see where they got Linux running on the PS5?
Oh, really?
No, that's cool.
Dude, no, and running games. And so if you watch Digital Foundry, they've been running games with ray tracing. You should check it out, Digital Foundry. They have a few videos where they're booting into Linux, running Steam games, and doing tests, comparing them to their PS5 counterparts. And dude, a lot of times it's like it's like this, one for one.
I would expect it would be much worse because it's not optimized and all that. But if it's running neck and neck, that's extreme. That's interesting and cool.
Well, the PS5 is basically running just normal x86 PC parts. So even though it may not be exact like the
I just mean when somebody's making a game, they're making it for these exact CPU, GPU.
Yeah. You mean generally that's the Linux version would be run worse than even if it wasn't on a PS5. Mm-hmm. No, they're neck and neck, man. It's really cool stuff, and you should definitely check it out. So Digital Foundry has a few videos, and they're gonna keep going through these tests. But they were running Quake, I think it was Quake 2 RTX. So they're like, and they're trying to basically see what exactly the hardware can do. And they got, there's a lot less restrictions, of course, when you have a full-blown Linux available. But yeah, it's cool stuff.
Neat. Destiny 2 is getting its final content update next month as Bungie ends active development. In the post, Bungie writes, while our love for Destiny 2 has not changed, it has become clear that after the final shape, we have time for our shared worlds and Destiny to live beyond Destiny 2. The studio plans to release the game's final content update on June 9th. After that, the game will remain playable, likely for a long time. On the same day, Destiny 2, along with its content packs, will be bundled into a single purchase called Destiny 2 The Collection. That includes every campaign, dungeon keys, the 30th anniversary pack, and more. Standalone expansions and content packs will be permanently discounted in June. So they're going to keep the game running, who knows how long, but they're not going to be updated with new content anymore. It's basically the situation, which we knew was coming. I mean, not that they were even trying to hide anything. But at the final shape, yes, that was the last hurrah. Apparently people liked it. I fell off of Destiny 2 a long time ago, but I do want them to be done with this. It's been too long. It's been over 10 years. I do want them to put more focus as much as they can into Marathon. Apparently they're releasing PvP for Marathon. Did y'all see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. And I think I understand all the things, but ultimately I think that's a good move. I would personally want that. I know it takes away from the whole experience, blah, blah, blah. But if it's just a separate thing on a menu of its own package and whatever, not even like a separate install. I just mean like, okay,
separate mode.
Just a whole separate mode. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Caesar, I found out today that Caesar's like a huge freaking Caesar into the boardwalk. Huge Destiny 2 player.
Did he show you his like stats and stuff though?
No,
because that's where you should look. Get him to give you his gamer tag and pull up like the Destiny stats. He is one of the top players in the world. He is huge, and I played with him for like a moment. We like ran a little not a raid, a strike or something. I forget what they call them. And I was like, holy crap, he's God tier at it. Really, really good.
He was bummed out about this news. He was like, and then I was like, you don't try Marathon? He's like, fuck Marathon. He's upset that he's losing Destiny 2. But I mean, it's like you said, it's still gonna be active. They're just sunsetting it. So but yeah, he's bummed out because he's like, I never knew. And then that's when we were talking about it, they started telling me about how much he plays it, and I was like, dang.
I wish I could remember, but it was something wild. I want to say he's like 120th player in the world or something like that. Something wild. It's like millions of players. Anyway. He was running the raids when they were like releasing and new, and being in like the top 5 of like people completing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Man. I never knew that. Yeah, I never knew that.
The annual summer PlayStation State of Play has been announced, and it will air ahead of Summer Game Fest on June 2nd. Marvel's Wolverine is confirmed to make an appearance. So, I don't know. I'm not excited for Wolverine, but I'm still not like super overly hyped on it either. But I'm sure it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna get it. I mean, who doesn't want a mature Wolverine game? You would think.
Yeah.
For some reason, play it. I guess it's just because it's been so long that I kind of stopped caring. They announced this thing 5, 6, 7 years, something wild. It's been a long time, so I just kind of stopped caring. Plus, Marvel itself, I'm like super over at this point. Still, I don't know.
Have you seen the Spider-Man Noir trailer with Nicolas Cage? Nicolas Cage and Spider-Man.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. At first, dude, my buddy was telling me, asking me if I seen it. I was like, well, dude, I don't like Spider-Man, and I'm not interested in any of that. And then he was like, dude, it's got Nicolas Cage in it. And I'm like, oh, dang. So now I am interested because Nicolas Cage. Like, I'll watch anything.
He's playing as Spider-Man, but as Spider Noir, and clearly by the name you can tell just black and white, set the 30s, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they're gonna release a black and white and colored version, so you can watch either the But I would definitely try to watch it in black and white. Yeah. But
it's series. I thought this was a movie. It's not a movie. It's a series coming.
Interesting.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird. They already have episode listings and everything. First episode May 22nd. So here in like 6 days. I'll watch it.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Now here's the thing. This is Disney and all that. So Disney Plus, I'm assuming. Which I'm not summoned to Disney Plus. I'll watch it other ways.
I'm going on the high seas. Going on the high seas. Yeah.
Dude,
that's what my buddy Dino was saying. He's like, I'm not giving Disney money. He's like, I'll find it another way.
I'm always so happy anytime someone says they hate Disney because it just fuels my own hatred even higher. It's like, hell yeah, let's all hate it together. Anyway, let's get into what we're watching, what we're playing. Rudy.
All right, I can go first. We talked a little about Mixtape. After we're done talking here, I'll probably go try to finish that. I'm going away this weekend for a wedding, so I really would love to. And you know what? I could play it on Steam Deck, but the game is so beautiful. I've really been appreciating how it looks on my computer.
Play it on a bigger screen.
Yeah, the game has some really nice visuals. I kind of like the I don't know if I can call it stop motion, but you know what I mean, Tim. You see it like the way she moves.
Yes, it's like that.
You know?
The game we were playing, South of Midnight, same
Oh,
ordeal.
similar. Yes.
And
Yeah,
then
frame rate.
also it's emulating the Spider-Verse
I wasn't
stuff.
sure. I wasn't sure what to call it, but that
It's
kind
like
of movement.
it's almost like half frame rate movement.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting how it moves like that, but then the background and the visuals are so like stunning. Like when you're like the open road and the sunset and the water, it's really, really beautiful. So I was like, you know what, this game's not that long. I want to play this on my PC. So yeah, I'll probably finish that. Now let me tell you about Mouse PI for Hire. This game is actually really, really good. It's a boomer shooter, but like I said, the visuals kind of remind me of like Cuphead, sort of, with like the hose shooter thing going on or whatever. But then it actually has like kind of an interesting story, like with the whole, I went up to Tommy's office and blah blah blah. He talks like that the whole time, Troy Baker or whatever. So you combine those three things together, and you get a pretty fun ride. I was really enjoying the shooting in the game. Now, to be honest, I only ended up, after I got every weapon in the game, which you don't get the last weapon until pretty close to the end, I ended up really using instead of the Tommy gun, they call it the James gun, which is kind of funny. I ended up using that gun a lot. I used the shotgun a lot, I should say. And then there was like one other weapon that I used a lot. So I really cycled through those three mainly. Sometimes I'd use the others, but that was like my go-to. But there was a variety of weapons. I'll point out the negatives about the game that I had is like, the enemies are pretty recycled. Like there's a lot of the same enemies.
How many? It seemed like there would be maybe 3 or 4 enemy types, and that's it. Is it like that?
Probably. There's probably 3 or 4 different like enemies that you see on the walking, running towards you, and there's a few aerial enemies.
Okay.
And that's about it. Like you see a lot of the same guys.
I
right?
would want more.
Yeah, so, and the other negative is the game is too long, for sure. The game overstayed its welcome a bit, in my opinion. I think I ended up spending like almost 20 hours with the game, and I felt that was definitely too long for a game like this, right? I feel like if the game was maybe 10 hours long, that would have really helped it a ton, All that being said, the game is super fun. The shooting feels awesome. The game looks great. The music is really good in it. Even like the dialogue and basically everything I'm saying that's positive, the reviewer in IGN was saying was negative, which is so stupid to me. Oh my God, they kept making the puns about the cheese and the mouse and everything. Yeah, well, obviously it's a freaking, they're all mice or shrews, which I actually thought it was really funny when they would do that. Then he's like, it's so negative how you get trapped in the rooms too many times. Yeah, you ever play a boomer shooter, dude? Like that's what these games are.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed when they would do that because it was a fun challenge, There's a few little like sometimes you'd have to do like the little side games where you have to do like the pick the lock and you have to do like this little mini game or stuff like that. The story was kind of like a little noir story, nothing too serious, but it's fun. So overall, man, I think it was definitely a fun game worth playing. And I don't think the game is full priced. Did I pay $30 for it or 20 something bucks for it? It was one of those two, something like that. It wasn't full price. So yeah, definitely worth playing. I thought it was a lot of fun. So yeah. And then now I'm finally, after Mixtape is done, I'm finally going to get to Pragmata, which I had started. I only played for like 30 minutes and then I got sidetracked with these games. So I think I'm just going to start it over and play it. So definitely looking forward to that one. So yeah.
I played a little more Pragmata, not much because I playing Final Fantasy 14. Here we go. Basically, they had like a fan fest and they showed off new expansion coming. So I'm like, all right, let me get caught up on the content. I basically started up every like 1 or 2 years and then catch up with the content. And then once I play through everything, drop off again, and then wait for the new stuff. And I've been doing this, I don't know, it's been over 10 years at this point. So here I am again. But this was probably my longest break. It's probably been 2, maybe even 3 years since I played. So started back up and I'm going through. And yeah, I mean, I always forget how much I love this game and why I keep coming back to it. It really, it's my favorite of any sort of MMO experience, like by a landslide.
That's
I
awesome.
adore this game, and then so they still just keep supporting it super well, and they always have really neat events like a near crossover or whatever, or getting a squall event, and you can get his outfit and gun sword thing and all the interesting stuff and really cool classes like the squall thing of like gunblade or a ninja and all this. And there's so many, like, you can just swap your class on the fly, play a totally different way, and I don't know, it's just super polished. Gameplay's great. I mean, it's MMO, so you're dealing with hot bars and cooldowns and all that sort of stuff, but you know what you're in for. I don't know, I still think it's top dog, so I love it. But
That's awesome.
that.
Very cool.
Pragmata, like I said, I've barely played much. I'm about 3.5 hours in. It's such a cool premise, and I don't know, I'm trying to play more. And another thing I've been working on that's been falling off is, so I've been going through this for the last few years of like playing older systems, modifying them, digging into Japanese libraries, all this sort of stuff I've been doing for the last few years. And I've been jumping, like, I recently, last episode, I was talking about N64, Flash Car, and a Super Nintendo one, and then digging into those libraries of playing, like, Japanese stuff that I never got a chance to. I was mentioning that one of the coolest things was the Mario Paint 64 version that I never got to see or experience, and it's wild. It has like full 3D models you can mess with and animate and turn into a thing. And it's just like, this is insanity. If I had and they translated a lot of stuff in English, and I'm like, if I just was a kid with all the time in the world, this would be the best thing ever. So you can like set a scene of like, sea life underwater, and you can set like how the water looks, you can set how the animals look, where they swim, all this sort of mess. So it's really, really neat. And then it goes into a thing where you can even edit, like, let's say you're editing the shark, it'll show like a shark from every angle, and you can basically paint however he looks, and then that way you can get like the full like design of it without having to like, but it all presented it. And I don't know, it's the way it's presented is very friendly and a lot more than what it would be of like, I don't know, messing with what was it? I used to mess with a 3D Blender.
Mm-hmm. Blender's a 3D.
Yeah. Back like in high school. Yeah, I think people still use it, right?
Yeah.
But that's very complicated compared to this. But they both can achieve similar goals, which is pretty neat. So anyway, but I wanted to mention, I just got, so Phantasy Star Online, I was like working on the Dreamcast and all that, and playing the OG of it. This is really, really cool, but I want to play online, and there's ways to do it. But I had to like get a Raspberry Pi, flash some network thing with the Dreamcast, and the steps were pretty extensive. And I was just like, I don't want to do this just to play Phantasy Star Online. But I thought like, well, I have a GameCube, and Phantasy Star Online 1 and 2 and 3 were on that. Oh, but the whole online thing, that's still another hurdle of like getting that going on our system. But Wii has a GameCube built into it, like literally same parts and everything. It's not emulating GameCube, it's just straight up a GameCube and a Wii. And then so let's use that. There's got to be a way to get it going there. And I look into it, sure enough, and it's way, way, way easy. So I got that going yesterday and got online and everything. And the GameCube version has like 4-player split screen. So you can play whatever offline. So I'm sitting there thinking like, yeah, this would be, I mean, if Leon even begins to care about playing a 30-year-old multiplayer piece of crap that, I don't know. I don't know what somebody from the outside would think of something as like one of the first online games, and like the combat. I guess it would feel stiff, but I really don't know. I'm too entrenched. I've put thousands of hours into this thing over many years. It's like I'm very curious as somebody from the outside if they would even find something like that enjoyable. But either way, I got all that going, which is really cool. And out of all the systems, and I thought this way back then, but I didn't go nearly as intensive of like a Saturn, a PS1, whatever, like Super Nintendo, etc. But I always thought Wii was like one of the coolest things to mod, and I still think that holds true, especially after running the gauntlet of all these other systems. Wii modding is probably like the easiest, most capable thing, as long as you have the power in mind of like, you can probably push Dreamcast level, but that'd be about it. I doubt you're doing like PS2 emulation on a Wii or anything like that. But there's so much of just all this custom applications for Wii of like, I don't know, satellite TV, satellite radio, or just all these weird random apps. And it's really fun to mess with the modding side of Wii still to this day. So I just want to mention that. But and I never played Zack and Wiki, so I threw it on there. And I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was always a game I like wanted to play since the Wii days that I never got around to. So that's something I'm wanting to like get around to soon. But that's all I gotta say on that. Eddie, anything?
I've been mostly playing Battlefield after work with Dino. They released a new Golan map. It's a huge map, and it's a good one. So I mean, as far as like Battlefield goes, it's in a good place. Hopefully, when they release these new naval maps, it'll be hopefully they'll be just as good as the quality of this most recent map. But it took forever for this one to come out. But
are they? I mean, clearly you're going to be on ships then. How do you really do that?
Yeah, boats. You have dinghies. Yeah, Battlefield has had boats. In every Battlefield, they've had boats, naval maps. So it's just going to be like that. They're doing Wake Island is one of them, which is the one I'm looking forward to. I just never
played them because I played Battlefield 2. I don't remember any ship stuff. I've played Battlefield Bad Company 2. Don't remember any ship stuff.
Bad Company 2 has Vietnam, or the Vietnam expansion had boats.
I never played any DLC. Okay.
Yeah, no. So Battlefield 1, not the first one, but Battlefield 1, they had naval. You could fly or you could pilot destroyers, dreadnoughts, torpedo boats, little torpedo boats. Mm-hmm. 4 had attack boats, and 3 had the attack boats. But then it really in 2. What's the World War II one that they came out with? Battlefield 5.
Because I'm just imagining the mechanics of like how it would work. Of like, okay, do a bunch of people get on a ship? If that ship destroys, there goes a whole bunch of players. But maybe it takes a really hard time to take
everybody
down.
Has. No, there'll be multiple people on it'd be just like a tank. You would have multiple people on a big ship, but then
maybe 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or
yeah. There's not going to be like a whole team on the ship.
Okay.
But everybody else will have like two or 3 on like I wish I had where to share my screen, but basically you have like a torpedo boat. It's like the size of a dinghy. You have 2 torpedoes on the side. This was off of Battlefield 1, the way they did it there. But in the more modern ones, they just have like patrol boats with guns. So you would have a gunner. You probably have 2 people on the side that could do repair and rocket launchers, and then the driver.
Okay, but it worked like a Warthog or a tank or anything else, but you're just in the water.
But Wake Island is from the original Battlefield 1942, so they had boats on that map. But the way it works is that's like an island chain where in order to get to the islands, you either have to wade through the water, but so it's curled. It's like based on real Wake Island. So you have like the A flag here, then it's like a big island chain, and then wraps around and say like your F flag's right here. So to get from A to F, either you got to island hop all the way around, which would take forever, or you get into a boat and then go across. So people sit out in that channel and try to basically protect the flag on the water.
That's neat.
But yeah, and the helio, that is one of my. I've always loved the naval stuff. Some people don't like it, especially like Battlefield 1, the maps they released for that. They're like, oh, I don't like the torpedo play, but dude, it's super satisfying. I hope they have something like torpedoes, because when you line it, there is no like reticle. You have to like use the boat's geometry to like know. It takes time to learn like where that torpedo is going to go. But once you get it, man, and you hit like a 500-meter torpedo shot on a big destroyer, it feels great. It's like one of the best feelings in the Battlefield game. So, but yeah, that's probably not going to be out for several months. Other than that, I've been playing Diablo 2. I Resurrected. I got back into that.
I do want that.
Yeah,
like
basically just going through, trying to get through the story at this point. The main missions.
Oh, not Resurrected. That yeah, I know what you're playing. I'm talking about the new Warlock expansion. I played Resurrected, but I didn't play this new DLC.
Yeah, the new character class and everything. Yeah, I don't have that either. It looks good, but right now I'm just trying to beat the base game, and then you know.
Sure.
Yeah,
it's not an example of Warcraft 3. Whenever that remaster came out, it was so bad. It's good now, by the way. Reforged, I think is what it is.
Really,
but that Diablo 2, this Resurrected right from the jump, has been great. So.
Yeah, you could switch over to the classic, there's a switch where you can be playing the new graphics and switch over to the old graphics and see like how they did the different boss designs and enemy designs. It's super cool. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just hotkey between them.
All right, well, let's get into New Game Watch and we'll get out of here. I don't have it on here, but I can pull it up and just read off. Let's see. We are in May. We go from 21st to the 3rd. Let's see. Okay. A lot of stuff here. Bistro, PS5, Xbox Series X and X, PC, May 21st. Coffee Talk Tokyo. I remember this Coffee Talk. I guess this is like an expansion or new game or something like that. But Coffee Talk, I remember this being a big thing. Anyway, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, PC, May 21st. Warhammer 40K. Mechanist 2? What is this? Y'all know, is this an RTS? Is this an action game? I'm trying to see.
They do a bunch of
I know, there's so many. Let's see. But I'm always, I don't know, Warhammer, I'm always looking from the side, being like, it'd be cool to get into that.
I know, I've never.
I'm just trying to see after.
Was it Mechanist 2 or?
Yeah. I'm on the scene. Okay, fast-paced tactical combat meets strategic management. Take control of the ancient deathless, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't know. Tactics, managed game, whatever that means. Okay. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, Switch to May 21st. Oh, by the way, Nintendo, they raised the price like $10 if you buy it physical. Well, retailers like Walmart is then lowering it $10, so it's the same price as digital for the moment. But again, like, things are so expensive, even shipping wise nowadays, where I would feel wrong, like, just throwing shade at Nintendo only because everyone's dealing with this problem. And I don't know, I guess people can just take losses, but what we need is a new government, but, that's not going to happen. Zero Parades, for Dead Spies. There you go. PS5, PC. I didn't know. So is it only? Is it not? Okay, so it's not Switch at release or Xbox, but PS5, PC. Interesting. May 21st. Bubsby. Oh, you know what I mean. The stupid character action platformer thing. Bubsby 4D. Why am I saying it weird? All platforms. May 22nd. I'm good. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. I'm hearing a lot of great things about this. Apparently it's totally awesome. It's in like preview phases of people mess around with it, loving it. But it's just like I've never once have I dug a Lego game.
Yeah.
I keep trying. Even that Lego Star Wars, I'm like, it looks cool and it plays a lot better than the previous Lego games, but I still don't care. I don't know. Still just whatever on it. Tales of Arise, Beyond the Dawn editions, hitting Switch 2, May 22nd. 007 First Light. Here we go, May 27th. I think this is going to be a good game. You would think so. Anyway, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC. It's cool to get a new 007 game. And, of course, these are guys behind Hitman. Everything we've seen looks really cool. Echo Generation 2, Xbox Series X and S, PC, May 27th. I've heard a lot of good things about this. The first game looked pretty mixed. They had cool ideas to mess around with it a little, and I'm just kind of whatever. But this looks like a huge jump up. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition's hitting Mac on the 28th. Stray is hitting Switch 2 May 28th. Little Nightmares 2 Enhanced Edition, Switch 2 May 29th. Here we go. My favorite of this bunch, Mina the Hollower. All platforms, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, Switch, PC, May 29th. I will be buying that day one. My Little Puppy, Switch, May 29th.
My Little Puppy.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is hitting Xbox and Switch 2, June 3rd. I played the demo of this because I was like, how is this going to run on Switch 2? Because now we're like open world. Because I remember when it dropped on PS5, it definitely was like a little bit of a downgrade in terms of resolution at least compared to Remake, because you're in big open spaces and a lot more to render and all that. But this looks clean, dude. I don't know how this looks better than native PS5 at release. I guess they just get, better over time and get used to whatever engines they use and all that sort of stuff, yada, yada, yada. Now, the game doesn't run at 60. It runs at 30, but it doesn't feel 30. But this is one of these games to where, like, what's going on? Like, it feels really good, and it's kind of even hard to tell it's running 30. And I've ran into examples of this in the past because this has been a conversation with this show of, like, frame rate being, can people even see the difference between 30 and 60 and just the dumbest stuff. But yes, you can see a difference. But I think what it comes down to is maybe not the raw number, but more on the frame pacing is what we're starting to realize, It's more than just frame rate alone. It's the pacing is the best way to word it, right?
Yeah, that is it. Yeah, Digital Foundry has been on that since like 2016, where that's like that's the number one metric that they went through. Like, and they worked with NVIDIA to figure out a way to measure it. They use like a little a thing that goes on the screen and counts the actual timing of the frames, because you could have 120 frames, and if they're like doing this the whole time, the shit is gonna be you're gonna perceive that judder. But yeah, frame pacing is really big importance. Back in the day when I ran, I had Crossfire set up for 7970s, and dude, it ran. The frames would be, great. I'd be like pushing over 120 frames, but the actual experience was worse than if it was just a steady, like you said, frame pace 60, because it would hitch and go and tear, and it was a nightmare. But
gotcha. Yeah, it looks phenomenal, runs phenomenal. I'm very impressed. Rudy, download that demo. You'll see what I mean. I was like, man, this is somehow better experience than than even its PS5 counterpart, which I wasn't expecting because portable and all that. But this is Switch 2. You know,
wait, which one are you talking about again? Did I miss
Rebirth? Final Fantasy
Oh,
7
for Rebirth. Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure of. Okay, damn. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out then.
It's
kind of
impressive.
surprised to hear it's that impressive.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I was shocked playing it. I was like, "Why does this feel so good?" And it doesn't look blurry either. And like,
man, that
it
just
looked
makes
blurry
me,
on PS5.
That just makes me excited for how much fun I had with both of the first two entries. It just makes me think about when the next one's coming.
I know. Yeah.
What year did Rebirth come out? Now was that in 2024, 5? When did Rebirth
Was it
come
last year? I'm thinking 24, but it hasn't really
early
been that long.
Was it early 25? Is that why it feels so long ago?
Let's see when it came out.
I'm gonna guess early 25.
PC, it came out in January of 25.
Oh, so it must.
I don't know about.
We need PS5 release. That was way before.
Yeah.
So it had to have been 24 then, like April 24 or something, maybe March 24. Damn, that's a few years ago.
I was looking on Steam. February 29th, 2024.
Oh wow, okay.
So it's been over 2 years. Over 2 years. Okay.
Okay, so we got to be getting an announcement.
And they've said things along the way. They're actually, I think the last thing I read is it's now complete beginning to end, and it's in like the polishing stage kind of situation. So we're probably gonna, I guess, see it end of this year, early next year. I don't know, but if this is the final part, and Rebirth was pretty huge, it's a big undertaking. And it's not like 6 years has passed. It's 2 years have passed. So you know what I mean. But I'm expecting early next year, I guess, is where my guess would go. But anyway, just shout out to the Switch 2 release. A lot better than I thought it was going to be. That's it.
All right.
Oh, Gothic 1 Remake is coming June 5th, which we'll have another episode right before then. I think that, but I've always wanted to play that. And anyway, have either of y'all played Gothic 1?
I haven't.
Or any Gothic game or anything?
No, but I was watching some of it. Yeah, I would like to try this one out.
It seems interesting.
But yeah, I've never played it.
Yeah. Okay. I will check out this Spider Noir. What was the date again on that first episode? May 27th. It's so weird though, dude. Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I thought you were joking. It still sounds like a joke. I feel maybe it's the internet trolling me right now and it's not real. All right. We'll get out of here unless y'all anything last comments.
I think that's it.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Later, guys.